Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart, as well as Bitcoin price action and indicators, seeing if we can get a sense of where we are today and where we may be going in the immediate and short-term future. So let's start off with crypto fear and greed. And we are still elevated above greed and actually still above extreme greed. So as long as we are staying high in greed for longer, I think that will bode well for some of the very bullish statements I've been seeing out there. Right now, you do see that after the spike, we do have some lower highs. So we'll see if this continues to materialize into some lower highs, lower lows, whether this was just a spike similar to March, or if we can stay up in this range. And the reason I'm looking for that is just when you go back in time and you take a look at local tops, they sort of spiked up there, but they didn't stay high in greed. So as long as crypto can stay high up in greed, I think that will bode well for the intermediate future of Bitcoin and crypto. But if not, if it is a spike, then it's possible you could be patient, wait for some better discounts. Of course, as we are getting into the Bitcoin rainbow chart, I know these are very exciting times. I didn't put out any videos last week. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Had a great Thanksgiving with friends and family. Didn't put out a video last week, but of course I've been seeing all the things going on and couldn't wait to get back here with y'all because there have been some new, very important developments. We'll get into that, one of which is Bitcoin dominance and altcoins. As far as altcoins, if you've been in them, and you've been following this channel and you've been patient, spending time in the market, maybe you are already hitting some of your price targets. Do know that as far as alt season though, at least compared to the past, we are not quite there yet. If you can believe it, there's still a lot of room to go. And I've seen these charts starting to be shared around, and people are showing screenshots from the daily, the monthly, but we really want to take a look at the yearly. And something to remember is that as good as things seem right now, it can be even crazier and more euphoric. So I know this seems like great times, and it is. It can be even more insane. I've been in crypto in 2017 and 2021, made some great gains, both those cycles. Alt season is truly a crazy thing. And a lot of people have disbelief about it, especially if they're out of crypto. But if you spend time accumulating in the right crypto assets, whether it's certain Bitcoin mining stock, altcoin, Bitcoin, whatever, and then you're able to sell as we get in these overextended phases, this is why the rainbow chart matters, then you can make some insane profits. So just because we're already here at the rainbow chart, we can see that Bitcoin is in the yellow zone right now. Now, this is where the price got to as far as the rainbow chart back in March. Now, if you're new to the rainbow chart, you might be asking yourself, well, in March, Bitcoin only got up to 74,000, and right now it's almost 100,000. How can it be the same value on this rainbow chart? The rainbow chart is what's known as a logarithmic regression, and log means it goes up by scales of 10, and regression means that it is decreased volatility, diminished returns. Not that there can't be amazing profits to be made, but there are diminished returns. So instead of making, let's say, a 5,000x back here, maybe you're looking for a 5x, and this will just continue to go out to the right over time. That's been the phenomena. Since I've started this channel, we've talked about a couple of factors. One, that the halving periods go up a color zone, each halving, and it has done that. And that since this cycle here, we've been going down different color zones. So being above the red band, getting into the red band, 2017, 2021, getting into the reddish orange band. So this time around, because we've been making higher color bands each halving, and we've been making lower color bands each peak, that I'm looking for the orange one sometime this next year. Now, when that's going to be, I don't know. No one truly knows. But let's say you're in the camp of an early top sometime in March. Let's go middle of March. You can see that orange box, the third one from the top, is 155K to 200K. And if we push that out till later next year, because The tops have gone every 4 years. December 2013. This one was December 2017. There you go. And then, of course, the very top was November 2021, even though alt season was here. Maybe you believe that the top's going to be, let's just say November next year, then maybe Bitcoin could go 189K to 242,000. Now, there wasn't a 4-year cycle back here. It's only a couple of years. So do know things can change. It can be different. All because these are 4 years apart doesn't mean this time has to be. And remember, alt season and that first spike would be 4 years from then, would be March or April this year. So if we did get an early top, maybe 150 some K would be the area to look for. Now let's get over to Bitcoin. We'll come back to dominance here. Bitcoin, talked about a couple factors. And by the way, on this channel, if you're new to this channel, I try to answer the essential question, is now a good time to buy? A lot of people throw out predictions and make ridiculous predictions, and I will tell you right now, watch out for that. If a prediction seems too good to be true, it probably is. So when I'm talking about possible price targets, predictions for altcoins, I'm looking for certain market caps. And if you don't know what a market cap is, one, you shouldn't invest anything until you learn what it is. But two, you have to have realistic expectations. So if you see videos talking about Dogecoin going to $20 and having a market cap in the trillions, do know that's very unlikely. That what is more realistic is if Doge were to have a market cap at around 1 to 200 billion at its peak, which would only give it about a price of $1.20 to $1.60. So do watch out for those. And remember, these altcoins, as far as their usefulness, their utility, people right now, they just see crypto as a way to make money based off how much money goes in, and if they get in early enough, pulling a profit from that. Does crypto have a useful utility right now? Ask yourself that. I have a rule with stocks. I do not invest into anything I don't like and use. And so why should I invest in the crypto if I'm not using it in everyday life? The only places I've seen Bitcoin exchange machines or crypto exchange machines have been the third world countries and the ghetto. That's just me being honest. So as far as what cryptos are going to do well, it is hard to say. All of them promise amazing things. And every cycle near the top, I hear all the useful things it's going to do. And then it goes away and everyone shits on it for 4 years. And then here again, I hear all the amazing things Doge and XRP and everything's going to do. And then that goes away. That language is starting to return. Do not fall into that trap. So until that usefulness actually is applied, just know it's a lot of rumors. You're going to hear all the sunshines, rainbows, unicorns. It's going to sound like the people who run pyramid schemes, MLM scams are going to be spouting all these great things, and you'll see people have a cult type of thinking and emotion to this. Please do not fall into that trap. And again, this is an important part about being a market psychologist. We use emotion as an indicator, not as a decision maker. So again, emotion is an indicator. Extreme greed, be cautious. Extreme fear, look for opportunity. When it's extreme greed, many retail, and if you're new, I'm talking to you, you're going to feel that FOMO, fear of missing out. And if you're buying now, you are not buying at a discount. So I have to come back and say that. I want all you new people following. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, but I'm just going to be honest and straightforward with y'all. So as far as Bitcoin price action right now, there's a couple things I've been watching. One, this trend line Bitcoin's been in love with since the bottom. It's above that. Two, we have the double top from 2021. Bitcoin is right on that. And then three, when we draw a macro fib from the high to the low and take our fib off log scale, holding back a sneeze here, when we take our fib off log scale, I'll show you guys how to do that right here. Then you can look for price targets on the Fibonacci extensions, the 1618 being 100K. All those converge at about the end of this year. Now, what else is average for the end of this year? That's the average amount of time from new all-time highs being made from the prior cycle to the next peak. And so we have that factor. Now, there's a lot of predictions when things will be. You have the 4-year cycle timing going to November, December. We have the average amount of days from bottom to the next peak being in March next year. We have the average from the next halving to the peak being August next year. So guys, there can be so many different ways of looking at predictions, but I can give you a dozen different narratives and predictions based off correlation. But remember what I said here is that analysis of the data is not enough to push that forward and say it has to do this. And so just by being a smart investor, trader, tradevestor, the essential question now is now a good time to buy. Well, are you buying at the all-time high? Or even, heck, let's take a look at the last year. Are you buying within the highs or the lows? You're buying at the highs. So I would not be buying Bitcoin right now. If you do, if you're like, you know what, I don't want to miss out on this, do know you're buying at a premium, and do know that Bitcoin goes through these big phases of selling off. Not to say it can't go to 150K, and maybe you're telling yourself that. Wait a second, your fib and the rainbow chart just showed 150K. Yeah, maybe you'll make 50%. But again, you're buying at a premium. And so if you weren't willing to buy at a premium before, you were excited, then you are making a decision based off an emotion, and you're not using emotion as an indicator as a market psychologist would. When we go to Bitcoin dominance, we have to get into this. Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, has been, since it had the bottom and it's been going up, it has been retesting this red movie line. That's the 20-week moving average. Now, I nearly called the top. I can give myself a pat on the back for that one. We were looking at where Bitcoin dominance can go to, and I drew this red line, okay? And by the way, going back to the 20-week moving average, you can see we got underneath it. So I believe this is the beginning of the end. I'm going to give you two scenarios. But let's go over to the 61%. We actually have to go in a little closer. You can see when we zoom in, it pretty much hit that trend line I was looking for. Now you might be wondering, how did I find that trend line? And what I looked at with last cycle, I said, okay, where did the double peak go in comparison to the dominance drop back here? After dominance made its first true drop and came back up, it was about that point, okay? You can see it was at the top of that green candle. This point almost got there, so I said, okay, when dominance drops and comes back up, that's where the next cycle's peak got to. Sweet. When dominance dropped and consolidated, I was like, okay, this seems like a good line. And we go back here and we see these other points. Let's take off the moving averages just for a second. We see these other points that dominance was recognizing. So I said, you know what? I think this would be a good area for the peak. And I said, at minimum, I'm looking for these two trend lines where dominance dipped and its descending trend line, where it could go to. Funny enough, because things work in patterns sometimes, that's exactly where dominance broke through. And this was almost exactly where dominance peaked as of now. So let's put on our moving average again. And this indicator is very useful for finding good discounts. There's a couple ways to look at this. One, dominance has broken the 20-week moving average resistance. Right now it's at the 50-week moving average. It may get a bounce. That's normal. Nothing ever goes straight. But we want to see if it's going to continue or if it's going to form a base and do a second peak. Last cycle, after dominance peaked, it got under those moving averages. It formed a base compared to where it was back here. And then it formed a double peak, and then it tanked. This was alt season, but it had this long period in between those peaks. Likewise, in 2017, dominance, Bitcoin dominance. And by the way, if you're wondering, what is Bitcoin dominance? 56% of all money in crypto is in Bitcoin. That's what that means. The reason this is important is when money rotates out of Bitcoin and the dominance crashes to the high 30s, the low 40s, that's when altcoins explode. That's when altcoins take off. Again, we have seen nothing yet. Altcoins, and it's not just XRP, Doge, all those, Link, you will see many altcoins just exploding. Again, whether you pick the right one or not, who knows? The higher the market cap altcoin, the lower multiple, maybe you get in Tron, maybe it does a 5x, okay? Maybe you get in Chainlink, maybe it does like a 5 to 10x, okay? Maybe you get in something like Fetch, maybe it does a 20x, okay? So the lower market cap, if you get the right one, it is, if you get the right one, can do bigger multiples because all that money is flowing out of Bitcoin into the altcoins. That's the importance of dominance, okay? So you can see here, dominance past 2 cycles has formed a base, another peak, and then crashed. So right now, here's the 2 scenarios in my head. Either dominance is going to maybe have some consolidation periods and possibly just tank to the low 40 percentile. If I hit my price targets on any altcoins I'm in, I will withdraw my money. If dominance gets to the low percentiles and my altcoins have done very well, even if they haven't hit my price targets, I will withdraw some money. Or if Bitcoin is getting into these orange bands, remember, I'm looking at these 2 bands, not the L one, but the next 2 bands. If it's getting into those orange bands, I may withdraw some of my money. So this isn't the time, in my opinion, to be buying. This is the time to be looking to take profits. And if you haven't been paying attention, then again, you are buying at a premium, you are gambling. The time is short. Compared to these other 2 cycles, when dominance started tanking and breaking that support, that was the beginning of the end. Now, maybe if you take a look at 2021, maybe we still have 600 days. That's possible. But if you take a look at 2017, we might only have 180 days, half a year. You could use those numbers in the past as a range. You can say, well, maybe each time is getting longer. No one truly knows what's going to happen. 2025 could be a bad year, and this could go on forever, and then dominance tanks in 2026. I don't know. But right now, I am being patient, and I am getting ready to take profits. Chainlink is one of the altcoins I like. You take a look at it in the last year, it's as high as it's ever been. I'm not buying these at a premium, even if the price was higher. I've been buying in down here when it's been at the moving averages, down here when it's been accumulating. There's other indicators to look for. I'll show you guys a couple right here. Stochastic RSI, I like to look when it's flipping positive, blue above orange on the weekly. I have taken the slow approach. Heck, we can be lazy and look for just buy-sell signals on this indicator. Last time it got a buy signal was back here. You could have got Link for 11 bucks. Right now, it's twice that price, over that. So I can't stress this enough. Right now, dominance as it's falling, even though altcoins can still take off, you haven't been buying altcoins at the minimum. Right now, you will be buying them at a premium. And could the altcoin you buy do a 3x, do a 5x, do a 10x from here? Yes, it's possible. But you're not going to get those amazing returns as someone who's been paying attention and in this. Again, I'm not saying you can't make money, but you do want to be realistic with the market cap. Something like Ethereum, if people talk about 10,000 Ethereum going to 10K. So that's a little bit under a 3x. If that happens, Ethereum's going to have a market cap of like 1 to 2 trillion or 1.2 trillion, excuse me. So just keep those things in mind. In the past, when Bitcoin has peaked and altcoins have run, you have a very short time to withdraw your money and make profits. We've gotten, in this time, about 1 to 2 months. In 2021, here, you had a month. And so, again, you can look at, one, what is your price target? If it hits, you have to be able to withdraw and be a market psychologist and not have greed as an emotion and stay in and not take profits at the top or when the money's really great. Two, you can look at when dominance tanks. Okay, so price target 1, dominance tanking 2. 3, we're looking for somewhere in the orange as being a premium area to take profits. A little caveat, last cycle there were most altcoins peaked in here. There were some that peaked here. So if your altcoin didn't run as much as you want and you're willing to be patient, And maybe Bitcoin does a double peak. Sure, that's possible. But if not, just know that that is a risk you're taking. There were some that peaked over here, but it is possible it doesn't. So altcoins, it's very hard to pick the right ones. I find that when I'm looking at the list of altcoins, this is coinmarketcap.com. I'm looking at Coinbase. I'm looking at Robinhood, and I'm taking a look at coins that are within the top 2 to 300. When you get outside the top 50, the top 100, it gets very tricky. So Jasmy was one I got in a bit earlier, and it's been doing pretty well. Where is Jasmy right now? Can't be that low. Oh, there we are, 77. So this one's doing pretty well. I was able to get it when it was at a fifth of a penny, and I still have it. Right now, I think Jasmy can go a lot higher, or at least I hope it will. I don't know if it's going to. So I'm not saying this to tell you guys, buy Jasmy, pump my bags. I'm not saying that at all. And I almost sometimes don't even want to say what I buy because I don't want to influence any of you as far as what you're going to buy. These are some coins I like, some coins I watch. Do your own research and make sure you are being smart about it. And when we are in greed, in times of extreme greed, that you are enacting your plan. You're using this as an indicator, not a decision maker. Let's go over just a couple more little charts here. Oh boy, we have to take this one off log. So I've adjusted this trend line. It was bothering me. People are saying, whoa, tether dominance broke its trend line. I'm like, really? And you can draw up to these dips, and yes, it has gotten underneath there. But when we zoom way in to the first two times that I adjusted this as well as I could, when we draw the tether dominance trend line from these first two dips, and by the way, these dips correlate with the peaks in the market. So I'll show you, scroll down here. When it dipped here, that was a 2017 top, 2019 mid-cycle top, top before COVID, the first Bitcoin top, the second Bitcoin top. Going over here to the Bitcoin rainbow chart, those dips were the peaks here, 2019 mid-cycle, top before COVID, the double top, and then of course back here and now. So we go here, okay? We have all those dips, recognizing those tops. And as far as the trend lines, the lazy trend line I had, yes, it's breaking under. However, I am looking for tether dominance to stay around this line and then possibly go back up or ride the line. Last cycle, when tether dominance, and by the way, tether again, what is tether dominance? Tether is a stable coin, has a value of $1. When the markets are peaking and it's risk on, or people are withdrawing their money, okay, the percent of tether goes down. People add in, or they convert their crypto to tether to retain their value, their Satoshi value, their crypto value. Up here, as the market is more volatile, selling off. As the markets are doing great, people are converting away from tether, saying, hey, I want to make some money. If tether dominance can stay in a trend like it did here in 2021, stay by that trend line, stay low for a few months, we could be getting a peak from now until March. It's possible. But if it's a spike, then this could be a false top, as it's been shown before. So do keep that in mind. Any other indicators here? Let's do this. Let's take off. Okay, we've highlighted that one. We don't have a sell signal. Let's take a look at two more. We'll take a look at the RSI. Let's put this, all right, this is fine. Here we go, RSI. We're gonna go to the weekly. Okay, where's the RSI peaking? Right now, if it's rolling over and we have lower strength and higher price, that's bearish divergence. That doesn't mean sell now, but that does mean that in the future, it wouldn't be unnormal to like see a correction. So right now, bearish divergence on the daily, we've peaked up pretty big. So I'd say RSI looking fine there. As far as the, let's go to, I know people like talking about this one. We'll go to the Pi cycle Bitcoin high-low indicator. As far as where Bitcoin could get to, let's get this out here. When Bitcoin got to this Pi cycle trend line, it corrected. Now, when it's signaled that Bitcoin's been at a top, and again, there's no guarantee this is going to signal again, it got above this moving average, the white line. So the white line right now, it's at 125K. If it were to get above it, again, what do we see above it? We have these fib numbers here at 155K, the 1618 fib. You guys can see that right here. Sorry, the 2618. 2618. Okay. Let's take off the pi cycle because it's showing a lot. The 1618 is at 100K. The 2618 is at 155. The 3618, which I'm not sure we'll get to, is at 208. Now, if you're asking me, Mr. Market Psychologist, why can't Bitcoin get to the 3618? My argument against it would be this. Each cycle, and again, this is reflected in the rainbow chart, each cycle Bitcoin has hit a lower level on the Fibonacci retracement. So last cycle, Bitcoin got between the 3618 and the 4236. Each cycle, it's hit a lower fib extension. So I'm not looking at the 3618 anymore. I'm looking at the 2618. The 3618 would mean it's maintaining strength, that the cycles have not shown an ability to do that. Maybe it will, maybe this time, because it's going more sideways. Maybe it maintains that fib strength. But if Bitcoin were to maintain that 3618, I would say that 200-ish K, 210 would be the absolute top, in my opinion. If we keep going lower and having those diminished returns, this 2618 at 155K is what I'm looking for. That also goes along with the patterns of lower highs. But again, it doesn't matter. This is just one factor of many. Again, you want to be able to think clear and enact your plan. If you do not have a plan, literally write it down, put it in an email draft, Word, whatever. But what are you going to do? Are you waiting for the higher bands, orange, red? You can be as risky as you want. Are you waiting for a price target? Maybe you have Bitcoin, you've bought down here, and the 2618 at 155K is your price target. Or maybe 130 to 150K. Cool. And again, you can take out a certain percent here and another percent here. Okay, great. You could be looking at a price target. Or maybe you're waiting for something that's shown here is the cycle of Bitcoin dominance to tank. Last thing I'll take a look at with you guys before letting you all go. And again, I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. This is the Ethereum Bitcoin pair. Ethereum Bitcoin last cycle bottomed in September 19. That was the same time that Bitcoin dominance peaked, September 2019. You see the date at the bottom. Okay, so there we go, September 2019. Let's go back to ETH Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin dominance has topped and Ethereum Bitcoin would thus bottom, in order to truly confirm that, what do we need to see? Well, we talked about the moving average for Bitcoin dominance being the support that it's broke. Right now, the resistance, you can see Ethereum Bitcoin has gotten above the 20 week, but the 100 week the 50 week, the gold one has been the biggest resistance since. So if ETH Bitcoin can get above the 50 week, it's go time. When that happened last cycle, it tested it 3 times again, September 2019 here, tested it 3 times in early to mid 2020, and there was still ways to go. Remember, alt season was over here when it's truly taken off. Still a ways to go. So to me, this says there's still ways to go, that the top isn't this month or next month, that we still have room to run. So just by the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing, again, for this to be true, Ethereum would have to start performing well this coming year. And if it does, I think there is more time and more room to run and possibly more time to be patient. Now, if I'm wrong about that, which is possible, what we would see is Bitcoin dominance just tank from here. By March, it would just tank from this point and go down. We would see a 1 to 2 month span where it goes down. But if it forms a base as it's done before and starts to go back up, maybe it's somewhere around, I would say this line right here. Okay, when we take a look at where it formed a base last time, okay, where was there consolidation and some sideways movement? I'd say sort of right in here at this peak and this low. I'm going to actually put a trend line there, horizontal line. I'm going to do it right here. I could see if there's a, let's change the color because I want to say that's like go time. We're going to make it green. If I see a base somewhere around here and it comes back up, there's more time to be patient. But if it starts breaking through, then maybe we get an early top, and who knows what happens with Ethereum. Again, predictions don't matter. Having a plan does, and we can hope and wish for 10K Ethereum and our altcoins to run. There's no guarantee. So have a plan if your prediction doesn't come true, and have a plan for price targets and for risk metrics of where you are going to pull out. It's what I'm trying to help you guys with is answer the essential question. Is now a good time to buy or sell? Let's get into that sell phase or that take profit phase, that be extremely cautious phase. But I'm not buying any crypto right now. I'm waiting. And if Bitcoin dominance does what it's done before, forms a base, then it's very possible for even some of my favorite altcoins that we may see a correction. Okay, you see this ascending trend line? Okay, it's already broken up. This trend line's already been invalidated, this wedge. And by the way, look how beautiful this wedge is. We have these higher lows, lower highs. And what do I tell you guys? When we get coiled in these wedges, it has a big move one way or the other. The 200 moving average was a great time to buy. So is here. Got a bunch of link in here, and then boom, broke out of that wedge. That played out beautifully. But it's possible that if we have more time to be patient, link could come back down to 16, 13, 14 to 16 bucks would be a discount range. I'm just using that as an example, showing you all how to chart a little bit with trend lines, moving averages, and fibs. Okay, that's my goal here. And if Bitcoin was to turn bearish, and we do have a peak here, I'd be taking a look at its former all-time highs as support, somewhere around 70K. 70K and under, I'd say definitely times to be patient for or wait for, possibly. But if you haven't gotten in, you're gambling. So anyways, hope you all are doing well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. I will do a video on Bitcoin mining stocks, and I'll start doing some more videos on altcoins because I'm seeing a lot of talk on all these top altcoins, the ones on Robinhood and some on Coinbase. So we're going to get into that in the coming future. There will be more videos coming out, and I also do stock market videos as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week. Take care.